Now, last week, we told you the kid gloves have come off for President Biden from even some more left-leaning news outlets. And Politico proved that point yesterday with this piece. Biden downplays age talk, but subtle accommodations are being made. Namely, he's using mini stairs to board Air Force One. You can see that the mini stair is much different than the usual staircase that a president would use, and he had a series of stumbles on the big stairs. Thus, the discussion about his age is starting to get real. You, of course, already know this from having watched us last month. It's certainly not a security issue. Sometimes he's doing it at Andrews Air Force Base. And the airports he was at certainly had the big stairs. All right, we pointed out Politico then made the point about why he's doing this. Max Burns, founder and chief strategist for Third Degree Strategies, with us now. Are Democrats starting to get worried, irritated, annoyed about the press coverage, even in the New York Times, even in Politico, about President Biden's age?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of hand-wringing about it. But frankly, this is something Democrats knew when they nominated Joe Biden in 2020. They knew he wasn't a spring chicken. They knew that he would get these questions. But if we're judging by record, I mean, he's had undeniably one of the most effective first terms of any president since FDR. So if there's an age problem, it's clearly not showing in his ability to get things done.
Well, right. We can go argue back and forth whether what he has gotten done has made people's lives better or whether people are happy with it, but he's gotten a lot done, undeniable. That said, in 2020, the argument was he is a one-term president. He is a caretaker to get us away from the craziness of Donald Trump, and then he will be this generationally transformative candidate and hand the baton off, which evidently he liked Air Force One too much and has not handed the baton off. And I'm wondering, when did that change in Democrats' minds? And they went, wait a second, this guy who said he was going to be a one-term president now is running.
Well, I think it's something Joe Biden really did think about and decide in the moment after consideration with his family to do based on all that he's done. But it has caused some friction. I mean, how often do people promise to step down and then find themselves finding reasons to stay? And this generational shift in the Democratic Party has been delayed and delayed and delayed. And it's reaching a point where there's a lot of pressure here to at least make some accommodation to that younger left.
Right, and there's a younger left that is more progressive, that doesn't necessarily look at President Biden as all that happy with him. Most voters concerned about Biden's health. 68% of voters are concerned that Biden doesn't have the necessary mental and physical health to be president. 55% who say they have major concerns. How long can Democrats afford to have stories in the New York Times and Politico about the age problem before you say, look, we're still 6 months till Iowa?
Well, I think the only person who can fix those problems is Joe Biden. Like, he has to get out and demonstrate that he's still got it, not just in delivering victories, but actually getting out there and talking. And to his benefit, you know, this country is not as young as it used to be. So a lot of people understand making these accommodations. But if he goes out and he looks frail and he looks like he can't do it, then Democrats have a problem.
I think there's some people who are going to be questioning the word if in this conversation, but I appreciate you being here.
Thanks so much.
As always, thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.